모두가 포기할 때 진짜 불장은 시작된다. 전설적인 매크로 전략가 라울 팔이 방금 폭탄 예언을 던졌습니다. 비트코인과 이더리움의 진짜 정점은 2026년에 온다. 지금 시장이 조용한 이유? 죽어서가 아니라 폭발 직전의 숨고르기 때문이라는 겁니다. 지금의 크립토 시장을 보면 마치 시간이 멈춘 것 같습니다. 스테이블 코인은 여름 이후 성장률 0%, 유동성은 말라붙고 펀드들은 코인은 끝났다, 주식으로 돌아가자라 외칩니다. 하지만 라울 팔은 단호합니다. 이건 죽음이 아니라 정책이다. 유동성이 빠져나가면 가격은 잠시 멈출 뿐 다시 돌아올 땐 폭발적으로 튀어오른다. 그가 말하는 에브리싱 코드에 따르면 비트코인은 결국 글로벌 유동성 사이클 위에 존재합니다. 연준의 금리 인하, 미국 정부의 재정지출 재개, 중국의 유동성 확대, 그리고 10조 달러 규모의 미 국채 만기 롤오버. 이 거대한 돈의 파도가 시장으로 되돌아오는 순간 크립토 생태계의 산소가 다시 폭발적으로 공급된다는 겁니다. 라울 팔은 이렇게 단언합니다. 이건 4년 주기의 끝이 아니라 연장된 사이클의 중간 지점이다. ETF 자금의 지속적인 유입, ETH의 장기 락업 구조, 그리고 공급이 줄어드는 토크노믹스는 이더리움과 솔라나 같은 자산을 극단적으로 희소하게 만들 것이라고 말합니다. 지금의 답답함은 2026년 미친 랠리를 위한 인내의 구간이다. 지금이 바로 모두가 서로에게 분노를 던지는 시점. 라울 팔은 이걸 원숭이 지표라 부릅니다. 모두가 짜증낼 때 바로 그때가 바닥이다. 그의 메시지는 단순하지만 강렬합니다. 지금이 조용할수록 나중엔 더 크게 터진다. 비트코인, 이더리움 그리고 우리의 믿음. 2026년 바나나존이 열린다. 지금 구독하고 불장의 서막을 함께 목격하세요.
If it wasn't for the ETF just kind of making sure that there was a continual bid for like the, let's say, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, that felt like, if you go back to what previous tops felt like, that kind of felt like one with altcoins all going crazy, narratives, like you were calling out the AI narrative pretty aggressively at that time, but like, it was like, you know, we are everything's about to go 100x. You didn't want to hold any stables because everything was just going up so much higher. And then we've gone through this period of just like sideways or downward price action. Now people are calling for the top, and I'm like, this just doesn't feel like a top. Like when people are like this, crashing out every single week, that's not a top. That's not Bitcoin at 110K, like 10%.
No, it's when everybody's on X saying,
yeah,
you know, celebrating each 1,000 rise, you know, Bitcoin feels great at 150,000. I wonder how 151,000. When everybody's doing that kind of stuff, you kind of know that we're getting a bit effervescent. But also, you know, when I look at it in macro terms, is all the macro tops have come with business cycle tops through the business cycle low. They've all come with liquidity tops, liquidity is expanding. And then when you look on a forward basis, we've got the government shutdown to reopen. That's going to open $1 trillion of flow out of the Treasury General account. We've got Fed rate cuts coming. We've got the changes to the SLR, which is the minimum requirements for banks. We've got a potential balance sheet expansion coming. We've got China expanding its balance sheet. We've got the Trump tax cuts to come into place. We've got, I mean, the list is endless of liquidity that's to come. And we've got to roll $10 trillion of debt. So my view is we had this extended year, which was this year, because they didn't need to roll the debt because the debt got matured to 5 years. So we just had ongoing liquidity. And I think 2026 is going to be a banner year.
Can I ask?
I still think the end of this, I think November, December are going to be very strong here as well.
Yeah, I think towards the end of November, it's going to be like, well, why are you selling now? It's not 4-year cycle. Like 4-year cycle doesn't happen. I know you have this, you know, the everything code, and it kind of boils down into just one asset really, which is just like crypto. Have you questioned that at all though recently with these sort of moves? Like, are you not like, oh, maybe tech is now going to be like AI?
Well, within like Real Vision Pro and GMI, we've had tons of tech stocks. So we've always said my personal portfolio is much more skewed towards crypto, but the portfolio there has been, you know, we've had fucking, I don't know how many stocks we've had up 100%, 200%, call options up like 300-400%. It's been a stupid easy environment in tech. But yes, the decoupling of NASDAQ from crypto has been interesting, but I think it's explainable. So normally you need to figure out why something is happening and is there real signal there. So one signal may be crypto's topped and everything else is going to fall afterwards. I get it, but I would give that 20% probability or 30% probability versus crypto's being affected by liquidity at the margin because it's the most influenced by liquidity. And when it comes back, it plays catch up. So the alligator jaws get close to the upside.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that decoupling for a long time. It will come back at some stage. You just don't know if it comes back on the way down or on the way up. Do you know what I mean?
Right. That's right. And you at some point the Nasdaq will need to correct, but structurally, and there used to be a hedge fund who was one of my clients based out of Miami. Every year they come on with the same trade, and every year it worked. And that trade was around about now. They come and buy call spreads and sell downside puts in every major market because the year-end rally effect is real.
Right. So go through that to people who maybe don't understand it. So call spreads would be like, you think it's going to be between this and this level to the upside, but then you're also just going to sell puts. And
sell some puts to make it a really cheap trade to do.
Yeah.
So, a trade that normally, had you just bought calls, they would have cost you, let's say 50 cents. But if you do a call spread, it's now cost you like 10 cents because you've capped some of your upside. And then you sell some puts way out of the money for 5 cents, and the whole trade costs you 5 cents. And then if it does go up, you make like 20 times your money. And they did this trade every year, and it works because the seasonality is so strong at the end of the year. And when you've got a year like this one, where we've got liquidity that needs to come into the market, but more than that, everybody's underweight tech. I mean, the surveys come out from like Bank of America all the time. It's like everyone's underweight tech. And so we know with the year-end window dressing means I need to buy tech. And then only after...
On the fund manager side, though? Or is that... retail surely is long tech, but
retail's massively long. It's all the hedge funds.
Yeah.
Hedge funds have a gigantic short on, or hedge on, and the mutual fund complex and pension funds are all underweight.
Crazy. Yeah, you can feel the FOMO in some of these stories at the moment. I'm quite big in Tesla. And it feels like the sort of thing where people are just waiting for an entry. Do you know what I mean? I love trades like that where you've got the right trade on. People just are clamoring to get in on every single dip. They never really last.
How I think of it is the market's short the upside calls, right? It's like the moment the market goes up, they all have to buy, and because they've got this mental thing that they could buy it lower and they can't, it's like that creates a great market. And
you were never approached by that? I feel like you would have been one
I
of the
got
first
approached
by some of
I got
these,
approached
right?
by outside of the ETH and MicroStrategies, I got approached by pretty much every single one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And to lead them. And I'm like, I'm not going on the board of a US company. I live in the Cayman Islands. It's tax-free. I'm not doing that. And also I'm like, I'm not really comfortable with these. Now, again, they're not terrible and people will figure it out. But I think we have to go through some pain in these. But also the DATs are showing you there's not much money flowing into the crypto economy either. So the premium ability has gone down as well. So it's telling us something about liquidity flows in markets.
Yeah, I agree. The DAT is really a speculation trade as well, right? Like when everything starts to trade at like 1.5 to 2 times MNAV, it's when everyone thinks crypto is about to change the world and we're about to do all these crazy things on the equity side of the business. I think it could get a little bit messier with some of these lower quality ones. I do think that luckily all the biggest DATs are trading fine. Like Bitmine is trading fine. SharpLink, I still think is trading okay. I'm talking about relative to their MNAV here, maybe not outright stock price. And MicroStrategy is still trading above 1. It's still trading above 1. So the trade can still go. But yeah, for some of the smaller ones, I saw today that 10% of all of ETH supply has now been bought by the DATs and by the ETFs. How insane is that? And it's still only briefly touched an all-time high. And this trade has really gone on for the last 6 months.
I had a thesis from the last cycle that this cycle would end up having a shortage of ETH because of the burn mechanism. And then if you start locking up ETH like this in vehicles that aren't going to sell very quickly, you end up with a shortage of the stuff. So it gets very convex. So it feels like it could do that. It kind of breaks 5,000 before you know it's trading 10 in like a month.
I mean, holding
doubled in a month already.
10%, and this kind of started happening in May, right? Like maybe April, we started to see sort of the big inflows happening into the ETH ETF. So the 10% of the whole supply to be bought in roughly 6 months less. If that can continue, even somewhat, even just the ETF side of the business, like
so 10% moved it. Put the percentages on from the bottom to the peak.
Yeah, to be fair, it did from around the time we started to see big ETF inflows, which is around 1,500, I would say. So it did do about a 3x.
So 3x, so 300%. So there's your gearing, right? 10%, and you accumulate 10%, the market goes up 300%.
200%. Yeah.
200%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. And I think in some ways you could see that as like slightly bearish that it wasn't able to keep it gets all-time high, but it also only happened in 5 or 6 months. And I think the ETF, I think the DAT trade, as we've just said, probably goes through a bit more of a challenging period here, but I think the ETFs will come back. They'll come back as soon as you start to get some FOMO again in Bitcoin. I think you'll get it come back in the ETFs.
And we also know what a supermassive black hole crypto is for investors the moment it starts really accelerating, because the returns dwarf even the tech stocks, and it starts sucking capital in. All of the traders come back from trading equities. The equity guys have their eye on crypto, and before and now they've got ETFs to trade. It starts becoming a much bigger thing. I do think we'll see that reversal of attention, because the markets can only carry so much attention with only so much money in the market right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll definitely have that. There'll be a rotation of attention back to crypto. I think gold. I expected it to happen when gold kind of sold off, and it didn't, which again made me think, right, it's done this 4-year cycle, technical sell-off for a little bit, but it does look like an outlier, very much so at the moment.
I feel like gold's going to go again.
I love gold. I think gold's trading on going higher.
Yeah, I think it's going to go higher. And I think of gold as Bitcoin 6 months ahead. And if that is the case, if that continues, then the higher gold goes for longer, the further the rally extends into next year for crypto. That's how I look at it.
I have always been a little bit surprised at that. There's 2 different kind of camps in crypto, which is like, we hate gold, we've got the better gold, and the other one, which is, oh, this is like our friendly cousin that rallies for the same reasons that we do. I'm definitely in the second camp of like, I like it when gold goes higher because I think it's good for Bitcoin. But there's some people who are like, oh, I think it's obviously because there are certain characters in the gold community that hate Bitcoin that it leads to that. But
the gold community, there's so many curmudgeons in it. That's the problem, is like
curmudgeon. What? I've never heard of that before.
Curmudgeon. It's like miserable old gits.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Angry old man shaking fists at sky. Peter Schiff. I mean, basically that. And it's full of them. But you're right. Gold does a job, which is to maintain store of value over time. And it's done it brilliantly. It basically rises with the amount of debasement of currency there is on a global basis. Perfect.
Yeah, I look at it now and I kind of feel like that is an up-only chart for the next few years.
But you see, you go over to the gold crowd with your arms open wide and say, come to me, brother, and they just kick you in the nuts and walk off.
Yeah, that is it. And I think some people have tried for too long to do it. So I see there is the pool table behind you with the banana on it. What is your banana zone prediction now for the next 18 months? You think you similarly think it's going to be a strong?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's very misunderstood. When we talked about the banana zone, we said, right, okay, the phase 2 starts. It started in April, and it went up. Everything doubled or tripled from then, and then pulled back. And we've got this weird liquidity period. I just think nothing changes. The market, I'm very bullish. I think it goes up a lot over the next 12 months. based on liquidity in the Everything Code framework. And so nothing really's changed for me. The only thing that sometimes changes is time horizon. It's like, well, I didn't expect the government to shut down for the longest period in history, but we've got to deal with that. And that means they can't draw down the TGA. Okay, we need to deal with that. But other than that, people have no idea what we're talking about. But I can tell by your face you're now nerding out on the idea.
Of course. Like this is you could do this. You could do this for sure. Maybe I should spend the day like doing some calendar calls. You should definitely do that for Real Vision, just for fun. This is like, it's quite, I'm sure, like, even if you don't understand options, like this is very simple for people to understand, I think.
Yeah, much easier than an option, because you just,
way easier.
You stick in $1,000, and if you lose it, you lose your $1,000. And if not, you make $7,000. Okay, fine. It's easy to understand.
You need to hire an options guy to come in here and do Polymarket. That would be good. That'd be good content, I think, for Real Vision.
It's really interesting. I hadn't thought about using Polymarket for market so much as
like maybe Bitcoin, ETH, all the major, they're basically doing this on between Kalshi and Polymarket. A good options person would know what to do with British market.
And can we use our crypto to use them, or do we have to use cash?
I mean, you'll be pleased to know that Kalshi accepted SUI stablecoins and SUI from yesterday, I think.
So you can
Kalshi and Polymarket both accept most chains now. Plus they have integrations into the major wallets now, so you can like do it via certain wallet providers. It's very easy now to do this sort of stuff.
I like this. It's your face is hilarious. You're just going, I need to look at this.
Why not? I mean, I like to have a little flutter. Let's see what we can do here. There's definitely money to be made. I don't know if you can do it in massive size, is what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't be able to put on like millions of dollars here. But if you're just looking for like, some fun stuff that you could put out, and particularly if your portfolio, you want to just keep some Bitcoin, or you want to keep some of your major spot assets, but you want to, you have that degen energy, you don't want to do it in meme coins. Maybe this is what you do your degen stuff in,
So here's another question for you. Do you think if the cycle is extended, Bitcoin gets to 250,000?
I think Bitcoin's up only, man. I just don't, I'm not as big. Like when I zoom out on most major assets since 2008, I don't see cycles in them, particularly if you smooth them out on like quarterly performance. Yeah, monthly, you have these like horrific wicks, which then just get dealt with QE. But like my honest view is that if you have a zoom out chart of Bitcoin in 10 years time, like it's just up and to the right.
The Amazon chart's the same, and Microsoft's they're all the same. Just keep going up. So the reason I ask is, talking about prediction markets, we've got this super cool promo going on with Divan. You met the Divan guys, the white people. So what they're doing, they're going to run a competition on Real Vision, and they're doing it, I think, with Animoca as well. But we get a limited amount, which is, it's all about wine, obviously. So what we've got is, it's called Bubbles for Bubbles. And if Bitcoin hits 250,000, it triggers something. So you buy a bottle of this wine. It's incredible grower champagne, so fancy champagne, the kind of stuff that I like. You pay $150 for it, which is undervalued for the quality of the wine. Then that bottle is a smart wine. So the smart wine has an AI agent attached to it that tells you all about the wine, its journey, everything that goes with it. It's got a digital cork technology, which is when it's opened, you register it. The bottle is now been registered, been opened by you, etc. And it creates a community around wine owners and connects them to the vineyards. And so there's kind of this whole digital deed of ownership of wines and stuff that goes on. Tons of stuff. The bottle does that. So it's the first smart bottle ever. And we've done some cool shit with Divan. What we're doing is, if it hits 250,000, everybody opens it at the same time and creates this community. So everyone celebrates the bubble with bubbles. So that's kind of fun. And then one of the winners will get a $50,000 rare wine portfolio tokenized, which they can do what they want, because Divan does that too. It's got the infrastructure and the rails to tokenize not only bottles of wine in the logistics journey and the drinking journey, but also in the the trading of wines. So all sorts of cool stuff integrated with AI. So there's 3,000 of these bottles left. You've got 5 days before it opens to the public. So Real Vision gets it first. Let me just read out what we're supposed to do. Go to smartwine.ai and use the passcode 42421, which is a bizarre passcode. Smartwine.ai 42421. I'm definitely going to be buying some wine because A, I like grower champagne, and B, I'd like the $50,000 of rare wine, and see, it's kind of fun. It's like a whole kind of chat amongst members when we hit 250. So it's just a.
I'm a big wine and whiskey investor. I've been very, very big in it.